Well, thank God 2020's over, everyone. Am I right? Holy shit, that was a bad year. However, it did give us quite a few fantastic video games, and while I definitely didn't get a chance to play everything this year, what I did play, I really enjoyed. So, I am just going to go through my top 10 and tell you a little bit of why I like them so much. If anyone cares, I don't know. But without further ado, we're going to start at number 10. Astrobot Playroom, which came free with the PS5 if you were one of the 17 people to get one. Luckily enough, I was, and it has no right to be this good. I really enjoyed playing through it. Now, admittedly, I haven't finished it, but I've played a good chunk of it, so I feel like I can justify putting it on this list. It just had so much nostalgia, charm, and was actually a pretty decent platformer. You know, it didn't need to be. All it had to do was be like, right, here, this is how the haptic feedback works on your new controller. Ooh, doesn't it feel weird? And can I just say, it really is incredible. I love the adaptive triggers, the haptic feedback of the PS5 controller. I fucking love it. Best controller I think I've ever used. But the game itself was just utterly charming, loved it to bits, and I really should get around to finishing it. At number 9, we have Bug Snacks. Yes, I was fully intending on maybe putting this in ironically, but lo and behold, while again I have not finished it, I've played enough to where I'm absolutely shocked that it's made this list. It's genuinely good. It's genuinely fun. It feels a lot like a more interactive Pokemon Snap, but has, strangely enough, like a decent story to it. Like, there's a really good mystery going on. The characters are all amazing and different and voiced brilliantly. The game itself doesn't look particularly good. I don't know what kind of budget it had. I'm guessing it's kind of like an indie game. So, you know, I wasn't expecting too much. I really wasn't expecting much at all. I wanted to rip this game to bits, but it ended up being really enjoyable. I can't wait to see how it ends. And yeah, it turns out, while it is meme the game, it was actually worthwhile playing. And at number 8, we have probably, well, I would say the most controversial entry on this list, if it weren't for my number 1 spot, but Cyberpunk 2077 is a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? I'm very lucky in that I'm playing it on a PS5, and even that crashes like every 20 minutes. So I can't put it as high on this list as I would probably do if it worked better. And obviously those playing the game on last-gen consoles, unfortunately, have got royally shafted up the butthole. Thankfully, that's not the case for me. I've really, really enjoyed it. It's pretty much my perfect game. I wanted this to be like a mix between Fallout, Grand Theft Auto, and Deus Ex, and that's pretty much what it is. It is not perfect, and again, I have not finished it. I swear I will have finished some games on this list, I promise you. But I've played enough to where I know that it has massive potential to be improved, mostly performance-wise. Like, I have very few issues with the game itself. I think the story is captivating, the combat is really satisfying, and the city is gorgeous. Maybe there could be more things to do in the city that don't involve just randomly killing groups of gang members or whatever, but again, I have not played like 100 hours like most people have, so we'll see, but I'm comfortable putting this on the list. It didn't disappoint me, although it really does suck that it had such a disaster of a launch. I mean, Jesus Christ, they could have not done any worse. So much so, I mean, they've removed it from the PSN store. That's crazy. Oh, but I still think that this time next year, hopefully, it will be playable for most people, and we'll see what kind of a game it really is. But I've really enjoyed what I've played. At number 7, we have Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. And, yeah, another game I've not finished, but mostly because it's so freaking difficult. Without a doubt, the hardest Crash Bandicoot game I think I've ever played. I've no idea how anyone is ever going to get 100% on it. I mean, I assume people have done, but you know who isn't ever going to get that? Me. I'm never getting the platinum for that game. It's just not going to happen. It's ridiculously hard, but my lord, it feels like a true sequel to the original trilogy, and I think that's the highest praise I can possibly give it. And yet, it still feels modern. It still has a lot of new features and a lot of new gameplay mechanics. And boy, the graphics and just the smoothness of it all is incredible. Oh, I love Crash Bandicoot 4. Again, I need to get off my fat ass and finish it. I'm sure I will, but I don't know how many rage quits I will suffer in the meantime. At number 6, I've decided to put Resident Evil 3 Remake. Yes, I absolutely adored this game. Now, I know a lot of people found it disappointing. And yeah, it's not as good as the Resident Evil 2 remake, I don't think personally, but it gave me more of what I wanted. It really felt like a continuation of Resident Evil 2's gameplay and tone, which is really all I wanted from it. I had played the original Resident Evil 3 shortly before the remake came out, so I didn't have as much nostalgia for the original. And I know people complain that they've taken out massive parts of the story, the world. I still really enjoyed what there was, except for the hospital standoff horde mode bullshit. That can eat my ass. That was horrific. But the rest of it, like the boss fights, Jill as a character was done justice, I feel. And while it wasn't as scary as it could have been, Nemi was still incredibly intimidating. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I also thought that it was a fairly decent length. I know a lot of people complain that it was really short, but maybe I just suck. Maybe I just fucking suck at video games, but it took me ages to get through, and it deserves its place on my list. At number 5, we have the recent Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which, again, I have not finished, but I've put in a good 40 hours or so, and it might be my favourite Creed in a very long time. And that's saying something, because I've enjoyed all of them, pretty much. I mean, the only one I've not played is Rogue. And yeah, I think this is a return to form. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that it's gone pretty much into an open world RPG kind of game structure. More about numbers and stats than just sneaking and killing people, but I think they've actually got the balance pretty spot on with this one. I think I prefer it to Origins and Odyssey. I never actually finished Odyssey because it was just too fucking big. One day I will do, but I completed Origins, and I think I prefer Valhalla so far. So, yeah, it's definitely belongs on my list. I know a lot of people are enjoying it, and I don't know. If you like this series at this point, you're gonna enjoy it, I think. But I'm interested to see what a true next-gen Assassin's Creed is going to be like, because obviously this is cross-gen, so I don't know how much it was held back by the older consoles. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm very excited to see what they do next with the series, but for now, I'm very much enjoying pillaging England and Norway, which is 95% of the game, I'm told. At number 4, we have Ghost of Tsushima, which was a game I was incredibly hyped for, mostly because I really wanted a new Tenchu stand-in, because I miss the Tenchu games. I really want one. And also, a lot of people wanted Assassin's Creed to go, you know, in this sort of direction, with the Asian setting, you know, Japan or even China. People have wanted that for a long time, and I think this definitely scratched that itch. I have very few issues with the game, and again, I've not actually finished it, so, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but from what I've played, I love the gameplay. I think it's one of the most stunning games I've ever laid eyes on. The story, so far, I'm loving, although some prick decided to spoil the ending for me when I was streaming it on Twitch one time, so thanks, buddy. I've still really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's just fucking gorgeous. Also, the combat is incredibly fun. It's the kind of combat I wish Assassin's Creed would maybe go back to, but anyway, it was fantastic. Really need to finish it, but it's definitely number 4 on my list. Okay, getting into the serious numbers now. Number 3 is the Demon's Souls remake. Oh my god, I have never seen a game this good looking. Holy shit. Now, I've played the original Demon's Souls. I don't have too many fond memories of it. I remember enjoying it. It was fine. But the remake, really, they did such a good job with it. Blue Point Games, they did the Shadow of the Colossus remake a couple of years ago. I really hope they're working on a Metal Gear Solid remake, because they do such a phenomenal job. Making sure a game still feels like the original, but just spruced up amazingly. Honestly, phenomenal. I actually got the Platinum, which has amazed me, because I'm not the best at those games. However, I adore it. It's definitely not as good as the later games in the series, but the remake... can you imagine if they remade the original Dark Souls like that? Oh my god! It would be too good. It'd be too powerful. I would never have a clean pair of pants. But yeah, the Demon's Souls remake, I loved. I played through like twice, and while it was incredibly difficult, as, you know, you expect, I still wanted to go back and keep on trying. So I really can't think of a better launch game that we could have had for the PS5. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are probably avoiding it because it's so difficult, but honestly, give it a go. It's phenomenal. I loved it to bits. And number 2 is... the number 1 and number 2 spot were really quite difficult for me. It could easily be the other way around, but I'm going for number 2, being the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Holy shit, was I hyped. I tried my best to keep my expectations relatively even, you know, don't get too excited, but it was impossible not to. It's Final Fantasy VII, and while 7 is not my favorite in the series, it is one of my favorites. So the remake was obviously something I was keeping an eye on for many, many years, ever since they announced it back in 2015. And personally, while there are definitely certain aspects of the game I would have done differently, and the story towards the end is kind of crazy, I'm still very much on board with seeing where they go with the sequels. I'm fine with it being just the first part in Midgar. That's okay with me, because they did definitely make sure there was enough content. I thought, even though some of the filler was definitely filler, you know, it didn't really add much, it was still nice. And I think everything else, the combat, I loved. The characters, the way that they were portrayed, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Barrett being an absolute standout. I fucking loved Barrett. Oh my god. But it gave me such nostalgia, and I enjoyed playing through it the whole way through. I'm very excited to try hard mode, although I'm also terrified. I'll probably do that when part 2 is coming out, whenever that's going to be. But I know a lot of people probably weren't too keen on this, mostly because of the combat, I'm guessing. And, you know, if you like your RPGs more turn-based and less actiony, I can understand. But for me, I like both. And the remake, it felt like its own thing, which was good, but it also really did give me such strong nostalgia that I can't fault it. I really can't. Very few nitpicks. So, here we are, my number 1 game of the year, which is gonna get me a lot of hate, but I don't fucking care, is The Last of Us Part 2. I know a ton of people on the internet fucking hated it, alright? But you hated it for the story, okay? The gameplay itself, I refuse to believe anyone genuinely hates it. If you hate the gameplay of Last of Us Part 2, then you didn't like the gameplay of 1. So I'm not even going to give your opinion a second thought, because it's just not your thing. However, the story of Last of Us 2, I loved. I loved how dark, depressing, how much it made me feel the feels. It's not a story I would have told, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. I cannot think of a single game this year that had this much impact on me, emotionally, and just how fun the game was. Like, I cannot wait to replay it again and try and get the platinum. I just loved it. I loved it. You can disagree with me all you want, guys, and that's the beauty. This is just my list. I'd love to hear what you guys think, what games you loved. Please let me know in the comments, and just be respectful of people's opinions, because everyone's got one, and it's going to be different occasionally from your own, and that's fine. That is absolutely fine. We can disagree and still be friends, okay? A few honorable mentions before I leave off, because my throat is about to give out, because I'm feeling a little bit rough at the moment. Crusader Kings 3 was something I really enjoyed playing this year. I didn't get enough time to play it, really. Same with Miles Morales. I know a lot of people will probably have that on their list. I just haven't had a chance to really play much of it. Animal Crossing, I know it's a lot of people's shit. I did enjoy it. It was my first one I'd played this year. I put in a good few hours on it, like 50 hours or so. But I don't know if it's really something I would classify as being one of the best I played this year. But absolutely understand if it is something you enjoyed a lot more than I did. And there's a few games that I just didn't get a chance to play, like Hades. Everyone loves Hades. I want them to port it to PS5, god damn it. I want some trophies. Otherwise I'm gonna have to get it on Switch, which is fine, but I just haven't had a chance to play that yet. Yakuza, Be Like a Dragon, or Yakuza 7, whatever it is. Tons of people have said that's incredible. Turn-based RPG. So I will probably get that next year. And Doom Eternal. I love me some Doom. I wasn't too hyped about Doom Eternal for some reason. I've heard it's amazing. Maybe I'll get it on sale, but I just didn't get around to playing it this year. And I think that's about it. Please do let me know what games you enjoyed most this year, and what you're looking forward to most next year. That is something, because, you know, no matter how shitty a year is, and trust me, 2020 was pretty fucking abysmal, there's always going to be some good games. So that's what keeps me going. I hope it keeps you going too. Please have a happy new year, look after yourselves, and thanks for watching this top 10 video. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these kind of things. I don't often make them because I just don't think many people will care, but hey, that's my opinions. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you whenever I see you.